Hey guys, I got a new video for you today, and we're going to be taking a look at a very interesting flashlight from Nextorch. This is the P86, and as you can see by the title, this is probably one of the coolest flashlights you will ever hear. And yes, you heard that correctly. A lot of times when we look at flashlights, we immediately talk about how bright they are, how many lumen the output is. Well, this flashlight actually has a really good output, but it has a really cool secondary feature, or depending on your usage, maybe it's the primary feature. Now, Nextorch was actually gracious enough to send this guy over so I can check it out. I've been carrying it off and on for a couple months now, and it's actually a really, really fun flashlight to carry around. Now, it's a little bit larger than what I'm used to. I normally like smaller kind of AA or AAA size flashlights that I can keep in my pocket, but the size of this flashlight lends itself really well for the features that it comes with. So again, this is the P86. It does have a max output lumen of 1600, so it's a pretty bright flashlight. You do get a couple other modes as well, but what this has is, if you guys can read right there, it says it's got an electronic whistle that pumps out 120 decibels. Now, if you guys don't know what decibels, 120 decibels is pretty loud. Now, that's one of the really, really awesome features of this flashlight, and it's definitely something that I'd never had before, so I was really excited when I got this guy, and I've been playing around with it. It's super, super loud, so I'll show you guys here, a small little test here in the review studio, but I'll actually take it outside and maybe give you a little bit of a better look, or obviously sound or hear at what this sounds like outside. It also states that it's got a nano ceramic window breaker, so again, if you do need that for the particular purpose, you do have that built in there. It is powered by one 18650 battery, and then if you take a look at the back, it does give you a little bit more information. It talks again about the nano ceramic window breaker. It is a Type-C rechargeable flashlight, which is really good, and then again, it's got the electronic whistle for 120 decibels. So let's go ahead and open up the box. I did put everything back together so you guys can see what it looks like when you get it. So as you open up the box, you're going to have the flashlight with the battery already inside of it. We'll set that off to the side for a second, and then underneath here, you're going to have a little bit of a bag there. It's got a couple different accessories inside. First things first, because it is a USB-C rechargeable light, you do get a nice little USB-C charger. It is Nextorch branded, and I like the fact that they even put that inside portion there in green, which matches their colors. You're also going to get a wrist lanyard here. I would recommend actually using the wrist lanyard on this light, because unfortunately they do not include any type of like case or holster or anything like that, and it does not have a pocket clip either. So again, if it's something you're going to carry around, it'll probably be something that you either get an aftermarket holster, or even Nextorch might have holsters for this. Or it's going to live inside of a bag, or maybe inside of a vest or something like that. So it's always good to have the wrist lanyard, so in case you use it, it doesn't, if it were to slip out of your hands, it doesn't fall on the floor. And then you do have your instruction manual here. As always, I do recommend that you kind of read through the instruction manual just so you can get familiarized with the different specifications, outputs, and things like that on the flashlight. Again, this is the P86. As you guys can see right there, if you want to pause, you can read. But it does tell you that it has a momentary on of 1600 lumens. And then you do have a constant on a medium of 240 lumens, low 25 lumens, and high of 1600 lumens as well. So both the momentary and the high are the same output, and then you get two other outputs, which is the low and the medium, 25 and 240. I like the fact that they went with a pretty low output in the low, because again, sometimes you really don't need that much light. And then the medium is a good range. I hate it when flashlight companies will put like 25 for the low and then like 75 or 100 for the medium. There's a big gap in there, and then from medium to high, it's an even bigger gap. So again, most small little EDC tasks, low would be perfect. The majority of EDC tasks, medium, 240 lumens would be just enough. And then if you just need a lot of light coming out of there, 1600 lumens is perfect. I like the fact that they do have this little pictograph here, which instructions on how to replace the battery, activate the different features, and then just how to charge it and stuff like that. So really, really awesome little instruction booklet there. So let's take a look at the light itself. This is what I would consider on the larger size flashlights. And again, for what I normally carry, so you guys can see my hand wrapped around here. It does stick up just a bit, but I like the fact that they went with this size for what this is used for, because it allows you to do a couple other things that if it was too small, especially with the fact that you do have that electronic whistle, you might inadvertently cover the the little vents right here where the noise comes out of, if it was a little bit too small. Feel wise, it feels really, really nice in the hand, and you do have some knurling at the bottom right here, which is where you are going to be holding the flashlight. I like the fact that it didn't go all the way up with the knurling, just right here, down here where you need it, which is the lower portion of the body, and then the tail cap right there. It is a flat tail cap here because there is no buttons or anything on the back. Everything is actuated with the 2 buttons on the side right there. And then you do have your lanyard spot right there. If you wanted to access the battery, all you have to do is remove the tail cap here. You do have an O-ring that is sealing it in there, and there is your battery. Again, this is a 2600 milliamp 18650 Nextorch branded battery, so you slide right that in there. And the good thing is that I do have quite a few flashlights that use that same battery, so if I did need to replace it or something like that, I could. Now, I mentioned that this is a rechargeable light, so that battery is rechargeable, and actually by unscrewing the head right here, you gain access to the charging port. Again, you do have an O-ring which is sealing it right there, and there is your USB-C charging port right there, which is going to allow you to keep that battery topped off. And then once you're done, you can just screw that back down, and that O-ring is going to make it that so you're not going to get any water or dust or anything like that right in there. Taking a look at the head right there, as I mentioned, you do have those nano ceramic window beads. So this is going to be, you have 3 of those. That's going to be perfect if you have to bust open a window or something like that. Maybe you're using this flashlight in the line of duty. Maybe you're a police officer, security officer, military, something like that, and you need to bust open a window to gain access to a vehicle for whatever the reason is. That's going to allow you to be able to do that. And the fact that the tail cap is flat definitely gives you a nice area for your thumb to rest at if you do have to use that, which is something that a lot of people tend to think about. A lot of times when you have these flashlights, if you were to have a tail cap switch and you wanted to use this, that switch is going to get in the way. So I like the fact that Nextorch thought about that and just leaving it flat back there so you are able to use those in a more efficient manner. Really deep emitter right in there, so you have your LED emitter in there all the way down there. It sits really nice, but you do have an orange peel reflector there, so that's going to make for a nice light. So coming down from the head, you have the different vents right here, which is where the sound for that electronic whistle, again 120 decibels, is going to be coming out of. I like the fact that they have that right at the top because, again, if you wanted to kind of wave this around to give it a little bit more animated sound or something like that as you're using it, and I'll go ahead and show you guys what that means, you are able to do that. On the side right here, you do have 4 LEDs, which are going to let you know what the battery capacity is, and then you just have your 2 buttons right here. The kind of more squared off button at the top there is going to be the one that's going to activate that electronic whistle, and then the other one is going to be the one that is going to activate the actual flashlight. So you do have a momentary on, so if you lightly press that, the light is going to come on, and that's going to be at the maximum output of 1600 lumens. So I can tell you that that's perfect, because a lot of times you just want to, kind of press that light on, get a quick burst of light to do something, and then let go without having to actually turn the light on or off. Now, if you did want to go with the constant on, all you have to do is click it on. The light is going to come on. In my testing, I found that it normally comes on in the medium mode all the time. So right now you have the medium mode, and then if you lightly press, it's going to cycle through the different outputs. So you have medium, down to low, and then up to high, back to medium, down to low, and then up to high. And then, all you have to do is press it to turn the light off. So again, in my usage, I did not find any type of memory or anything like that on this. So if I were to press that light again, it does come on in medium. So there's low. So let me go ahead and turn the light off. Usually you would wait a couple seconds and then you turn it back on. It should come back on low. But as you see, it does come on medium. Now, another thing that I did notice is when I go to press that, because it is a momentary switch, you'll see that the light actually turns on in the brightest output, and then it kind of goes down to medium. I thought it was something different at first, but then I noticed that since it always goes to medium, that's probably why. So as you see, I'm going to turn it all the way on. So you see how it like lit up bright at 1600 lumens, and then it kind of went down to the medium. That's just the normal usage of the light itself. That's just the way that it comes on. Again, the other button right at the top there is going to be for that electronic whistle. Now the whistle is going to remain on as long as you press on that button. So if you just lightly press it and let go, it'll just do a quick chirp. So again, if you're wearing headphones or you have this video up as far as the volume goes, this is your warning that I'm going to go ahead and do that. So here we go. I'm just going to press it really quick and release it. All right. So again, you guys might have heard how loud that is. That was just me pressing and releasing it, right away. Now I'll press it on for just a slight bit longer, just so you guys can get a feel for it. All right. So again, I don't know if you guys can tell through the video. Hopefully it's not blowing out my speakers, but that is very, very loud. So my perceived usage for this flashlight, again, I already mentioned, is maybe somebody that's doing any type of like traffic details, like police officers, security officers, people working like games and events and stuff like that. This is perfect because it gives you the ability to have the lights where if you need to, get somebody's attention with the light, you can do that. But also, if you need to get somebody's attention with noise, you can do that as well. So those scenarios are going to be really, really awesome for a flashlight like this. Now, obviously, this is also going to be perfect if you're going camping. That electronic whistle with 120 decibels that is pumping out is going to make it so that you can attract attention in case you get lost or something like that. A lot of times people say you should carry a whistle with you, an actual physical whistle, because the whistle, the sound of the whistle is going to travel further than you trying to yell for help. So having something like this where you can, every so often kind of punch that, button and have that chirp go out, it'll basically, allow for, people, if you're trying to, gain rescue, to hear where you're at. And then you can use the light itself to kind of direct people where you're at as well. So again, really, really awesome features on this light. And obviously, depending on your usage, I think it'll definitely come in handy. So let me go ahead and take the light outside. Normally, a lot of people like to see beam shots. I'll show you some beam shots, but I also want you to hear what this looks like at a little bit further distance than what I am from the camera now. Alright guys, so here we are in my backyard. Now I wanted to go ahead and showcase not so much the beam output, because again, we know that 1600 lumens is pretty bright, especially coming out of this Nextorch P86, but more the electronic whistle feature that the flashlight actually has. So my backyard, I would say to that fence line is going to be about 50 feet. So that is a good distance to, test if you guys can hear this this electronic whistle from that distance. Now again, you do have the ability to do the momentary on with that 1600 lumens if you do need to direct attention. So what I was saying is you can go ahead and turn it on and then use this almost like a baton to tell people direct traffic and stuff like that. But again, if you wanted to use that secondary feature, which is the electronic whistle, that's going to be something that's going to come in handy very well. So let me walk back there. I don't know if you guys will be able to hear my voice, but I know you'll definitely be able to hear the electronic whistle coming out of the P86 here. So give me a second, I'll be back. Alright, so hopefully you were able to appreciate just how loud the electronic whistle coming out of the P86 here is. Again, great options to use in different features, the light, the whistle itself, but obviously in different circumstances. Like I mentioned, you might be able to use this on a daily basis as part of your job, if you're a police officer, maybe somebody directing traffic at an event, or even like a security officer. If you need to ward off somebody from trying to come in or something like that, you can use that as well. It's definitely going to be very startling. especially in an enclosed area. It's going to be very, very loud because 120 decibels in an enclosed area is very, very loud. It's going to bounce off the walls and stuff like that. But then also, you know, if you wanted to use it in your personal life, maybe you're going camping, or you just want a flashlight that has the ability to put out 1600 lumens, but also to be able to have that electronic whistle feature, it definitely will come in handy and you will find a use for it. So again, if you guys are interested, I will leave a link below to the Nextorch website where you guys can go ahead and purchase the P86 here, or take a look at some of the other really awesome flashlights and accessories that they do have. So there it is. Let me know if you guys have any questions. Thanks.